right. And we're
Thanks,
recording.
Sam.
We'll give it one
I
more
was
minute.
searching for that on your command with Sam and thought I was doing something wrong. So
No,
glad to know.
I've had some tech issues the last couple of days, but they're finally resolved.
That's because the whole world is on the internet.
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah,
be
I'm not
fine.
sure. Well, and I moved on top of that, and I think my services, I don't know, they're all messed up, but we're good now.
You moved in the midst of all this?
Yeah, I moved.
Good for you. You crazy people. Congratulations.
Yeah, we were just happy it happened. I mean, we were sweating it the whole time, so. Cool. All right, so we have a pretty decent full room here. We have 63 people, so we'll get started. This is being recorded, so we'll make sure that we upload it. Like I said, I'll upload it to my YouTube channel, which is incommandwithsam.com. So if you subscribe to that, you will get a notification when it's done. And we will also, once I have that YouTube link, I'll post it on the Georgia Legacy Group Mastermind Facebook page as well. So if you need to watch it, it's there. And then I'll probably post it on KW Connect as well. So you should be able to find it one way or another. So let's jump into this. I'm going to take literally 2 seconds to catch you up to speed, just in case you missed this morning's class. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this because the whole goal this morning was that we want to get you prepared. We want to spend the majority of our time actually hanging out in Docusign. But first thing you want to do in Command is get your Docusign account set up. And to do this very, very quickly, you're going to click on your name in the top right-hand corner and then go to Settings. And then once you're in your settings, you want to make sure that you have Docusign connected. Now, you'll see that if it's connected or not, because it'll say Connected Apps. You'll have Docusign here. And then if it's not connected, like the opposite of what we see, there will be a button here that says Connect Account or Authorize Account. And you just want to go through the process. But basically, the way this works is you have to create your Docusign account first, and you need to do that with your @KellerWilliams email address, because that's how we determine that this is going to be a free service to you. If you were to create a Docusign account with your Yahoo email address, there's a good chance you're going to get charged or something doesn't connect appropriately. Now, like I said, we're going to post this morning's recording on the Georgia Legacy Group. So if you want to go back and watch how to do that, but if you want to play along, kind of skip ahead, that's how you do it. You'll just go into your settings and connect Docusign. Now, again, kind of zipping through things because this is a little bit more advanced level communication within Command. The way opportunities work within Command is that if I wanted to create a transaction, like if I wanted to create a loop in .loop, the first thing I need to do is go get a contact. I have to get that information. I need to get it in Command first. So before we even get to the point of talking about where are the GAR forms, just know you have to have at least that contact in Command. So you want to put a contact in here. And we have a fake one, Loredana, right? I think we put me in. Is that right? We tested that. I think it's Sam Jackson.
Yeah, sorry, I muted myself. Yes, we do.
All right. Cool. So you want to put at least one person in. If you're going to test this and you're going to create some fake loops, or I'm sorry, some fake Docusign transactions, please make them very, very fake names. That way there, we don't try to count your units as part of our market center statistics. Like put Fred Flintstone or put something very fictitious. That way there, we know this isn't a real transaction, okay? But the first thing you have to do is at least put a contact in. Now, when you have a contact, the next thing you have to do is open up your contact and create the opportunity. And again, I'm zipping through this because these are things that we should be up to speed with already. There's tons of trainings and videos on this, but you want to get your contact. You want to go to the opportunities tab on that contact itself, and then you can create a new opportunity. And we'll do that today. So I'm going to create an opportunity. This is really important. You want to make sure that you have it to the right market center. So if any of you belong to multiple market centers, whether it's one here and one in Florida or one here in Sheboygan, you want to make sure that in your drop-down menu, you have the correct one, because otherwise it'll hit the wrong MCA when it comes time to like the new green sheets, and you'll have the wrong forms in there. So just make sure you have that correct. If you have a team, you have the capability to either create your team opportunity or not. That will really impact more of the commissions tab, but that's something we can tweak later, not a big deal. The next most important thing with opportunities, and again, this is pretty critical, make sure that the opportunity type is correct. It is defaulted to say listing. If you have a buyer or a tenant, you want to make sure that you mark it as such. You cannot edit this later. So if you make the mistake of zipping through here, marking as a listing when it should have been a buyer, you have to delete it and start all over again. So make sure that you mark a listing here if it's a listing, a buyer if it's a buyer. And then fill in as much information as you can. This is going to really help you later whenever it comes time to like completing your new green sheets. But for today, I'm just going to put in the required fields, which are the commissions. But normally put in as much information as you can here.
Sam,
Great opportunity.
can I ask a question right here?
Yeah, go ahead.
What if you have a fixed rate commission? Because I don't see how you can do that. I only see percentage.
A fixed rate. So we can adjust that later when it comes to the actual commission request. So whether you negotiate it down or if you have a fixed like $2,000, you can change that later through the process. So for now, just kind of ballpark it. It's not as crucial in the details section here. Is that good?
Yes, sorry, I unmuted myself. Yes.
You're good.
Sam,
Excellent.
quick question. Is that where
Yes.
we put the 3% or the 6%? Is that the total commission or for?
Yeah, great question. Great question. So that is for one half of the deal because this is specifically for just the listing, not the entire transaction for a co-broke. So yeah, great question. That's specifically for your half of this transaction.
Thank you.
Cool. And again, if in the 11th hour that you reduce your commission by 0.25% in the final hour to make the deal stick together, we can adjust that later. Don't worry about too much, but put something in there for now. Cool. So now that I have my opportunity created, I'm going to go back to the details here. This is my actual opportunity card, as I call it. So this gives me the details of the transaction itself. Now, if we just take a deep breath and look at what we need to do, there's a timeline of things that we want to accomplish. So right now we have our details, which we've just completed. Our seller profile just lets us know how plugged in they are in the app. Then we want to go to documents. So this is where we would put in our exclusive listing agreement. This is where we'd upload information. And this is where we're all excited anticipating because this is where Docusign finally lives. So you'll want to click on this Documents tab and forget everything that you've known before on this screen. What you'll want to do is click this really, really beautiful button right here on the right that says Start a Transaction. Okay? And then this is the beginning of a new wave of Keller Williams technology for Georgia. We are finally in Docusign. So you want to log into your specific Docusign account. I'm using Lordana's because she has a NARDS number and I don't. Thank you, Lordana.
You're welcome. I'm here.
And apparently it's still logged in as me, so let me log out as myself. And then if you've logged in successfully, you should see your very first Docusign room. So this is what we named our listing. It just says Sam Jackson, my contact, and then it's a listing. Now, if you wanted to, you could have named more information there, but you're officially in Docusign at this moment. Woo! I'm excited about this. Okay. All right. Now, take a deep breath again, because this is a very new thing. It's a little bit clunky compared to like .loop. It's not clunky, it's just different. So we just got to get used to it. There's one thing that I'm not a huge fan of, and I want to point this detail out to you. When we first create a room, which is the equivalent of a loop within .loop, when we create a room within Docusign, we're automatically put on the Documents tab. I want you to stop for a second, take a step back and click on Details. You want to go over to this tab on the left that says Details, because we want to fill in as much information here. That way there, when we go to actually put in our documents, our forms have this information preloaded for us, okay? So again, Command will pull as much as it can into Docusign. However, if I want to update this information, or if maybe in the database I had their informal name and I need to put their legal name in, I can edit that information here. So to do that, I'm going to click on the Edit button over on the right-hand side, click this Edit button, and then all of these fields are interchangeable. So I can change this to listing fake. That way there my market center knows. You can play around with the currency. You can put your MLS ID, things like that. I'm going to put the location in. So this would be 3445 Canyon Oak. Got a chat, let me move that. All right, somebody said they're not seeing my screen. Is anyone else having that problem?
No, you're fine.
I can see you're fine.
Okay. All right, Deb, you might have to click somewhere else. Okay. All right. So I can fill in the information for the address. So 3445 Canyon Oak Way is the listing itself. Property type, I can change all this out. You're going to want to go through these details. I won't go through too much here because you guys should understand how this works. It's just residential detached. I can put the year built. Special circumstances. None of those. Listing details, listing date. Again, if I would have put this in command, this probably would have preloaded, but let's just pick tomorrow. Listing expiration date. Original listing amount, 420. Did I do enough zeros? Yeah, okay. Current listing amount. Okay. Put that information in. Offer details. Again, you put this in here. When's the offer date? When the contract come in? Let's just say the 20th. Earnest money amount. Again, I'm just going to fill in as much as possible, but you guys get the idea here. You'd put all of this in. So those are the details for the transaction itself.
Is that offer details, Sam, that you were just putting in there with?
Yeah, that's the offer details. So you have the offer details here, and then below is the high bid confirmation. I'm not sure what that's for. You can probably skip over that. I don't think we really need that for the official contract.
But if we just signed the listing, though, we wouldn't be pulling in the offer details, right?
Correct. This would be like if you want to close it out and you're about to do the HUD finally, you can come back in and adjust this information.
Okay.
But you can edit this after the fact. Yep. Good question. Thank you. But again, fill out what you can here. And then on the right-hand side, this is going to be really, really important to pay attention to the roles that you have within Docusign. So if it's a listing, you have seller 1 and you have seller 2. So if I didn't put their information in, or if I went informal, I can make this Samuel with the proper spelling for a formal last name. So again, I've been kind of preaching when we create contacts, it's important to go informal when you're communicating to your database, so that if you text somebody, it doesn't come through as, hey, Samuel, happy birthday. It goes, hey, Sam, happy birthday. This is your opportunity to adjust your database later on. So go informal in your contacts, because you can edit this when it comes time to a contract in Docusign. But I want to put their information in. Oh, go ahead.
Does that change it permanently? So do we have to remember to go back and change it?
So that it's only changing it for the contract itself, the documents. It won't change anything in command.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Good question. Yeah, thank you.
Sam, do you know if there is a place to have a third seller added? Because I only see places for 2.
Yeah, I do not think that we have. No, it's only 2. Yeah, and I'm not sure. I'm guessing that's probably a Docusign limitation, because right now we're truly in Docusign. You can probably reach out to Docusign support and see if there's a way to add a third.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, but right now it's limited to 2. So if you wanted to, like right now I have Samuel Jackson. If I didn't put Krista, my wife, on the deal itself and to create the opportunity, now's my chance to do that. None of you go call my wife. She won't answer. All right, information, I can put the address, all that good stuff. Listing information, this should preload with your info if you're logged in. So this is Loredana's, it has her telephone number, her email address, all that stuff's already preloaded here.
Sam, can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah, go for it, Chair.
If I signed up on Docusign a couple months ago with my Gmail account, I heard you this morning say don't do that, do it with KW. But I never use KW. So do I have to go back and then change it to my KW setup? And then how do I sign with my Gmail in the future? I never use KW.
Yeah, my advice would be see if you can get as far as we are today with your Gmail. The original advice that I received was to tell everyone to use @KW because that's how they knew it was free. In theory, though, if we're connecting it through a command, they should know anyway. So I would say see if you can get through with Gmail. If not, probably try to reset all of your settings within command and redo it.
Sam, I had Docusign back, some years ago when we had a group discount for the office.
Yeah.
And I was using my, business email, and it won't allow you to connect. So I am using the KW email to go into DocuSign from command. So Cheryl, you will have to use your KW email and password, and maybe when you get in, you change that as your settings. I don't know, but that could be one of the things. But you have to log in, you have to use your KW email.
Thanks, Gina. And to clarify that too is that it's not going to force you to use your @Keller-Williams email address for anything else. It's just the email that's attached to your profile for logging in. Because when it comes to signing documents, that'll be done directly within DocuSign. You can just do that through command. You don't have to go into your @KW email address to do anything. It's just for establishing the profile.
Okay, thank
Cool.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if by chance, because I've had this question come up a couple of times, if you need to get that changed and you're having trouble, you have to contact DocuSign directly and tell them, I have an or you have a Gmail account created within command and you need to change it to your @KW. They should be able to do that for you.
Okay, and there's a phone number there somewhere?
It's somewhere within the DocuSign support.
And just so you know, I still have not gotten resolution of that. And
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mona. You didn't get that fixed yet today, but we uncovered that this morning.
They canceled my account. I've got confirmation that they canceled my Docusign account, and I still can't get into it. And I've been waiting all day in the chat for Keller-Williams Technology, and I'm not.
Can I say something?
Okay, let's cover those like those one-offs after class. I'll hang around afterwards and we can kind of walk through those.
I agree.
Just in case. Okay, cool. All right, excellent. So back into DocuSign, once you have all of your listing information, your details correct, you'll just want to click the Save button. And then once I scroll up, all that information should be saved here. So the first step is go into your details, make sure those are as accurate as you possibly can, as detailed as you can possibly make them. Now, the next thing we're going to do is click on the Documents tab. And you should see what we call a blank room, blank folder, if this makes sense to call it a folder. But this is like your blank room. So to add documents, what we're going to do is go over to the right-hand side and click this button that says Add. Now, what's funny is that that button, that Add button, is there pretty much regardless of what activity I'm clicking on. But as long as you're on Documents and you click this Add button, you should be able to see your forms now underneath Docusign Forms. So I'm going to click on this blue Add button and click on Docusign Forms. Now, when you do this for the very, very first time, and I'm logged in as Loredana, and we've been through this process, so it's not going to repeat. When you do this for the first time, you're going to click on Docusign Forms. You'll see another box that pops up that says, what forms would you like to connect? And there's a nice little realtor logo that you need to click on. You'll click on the realtor logo, and then it's going to ask you for your NRDS number. And if you don't know your NRDS number, it should be on your login sheet that the Market Center Agent Services give you when you're a new agent. And there's also a little link there that says look up your NRDS number. And as long as you know your last name and your agent number, your agent license number, it'll give you your NRDS number. Okay? So that's a step that you're not seeing today, but just know it exists. The first time you click on Docusign Forms, that will happen to you. Okay? Click on the realtor logo, put in your NRDS number. Excellent. So once you've done that, every single time we come back, when you click the Add button, you'll get to this screen that says, okay, what forms do you want to go into? Did you have a question, Michelle?
Mine, my NRDS, it just says it's not valid. So I put NRDS and then Georgia Association of Realtors, and it says it's not valid.
Okay. We'll play around with that afterwards, okay? We'll see.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So once you're here, barring any kind of weird issues or glitches with NARDS numbers, you'll want to click on this lower drop down. You can leave this top one alone, but on the second drop down, when you select this button, you should have the option of FMLS, GAR, and then your specific market center's forms in here, okay? So your MCAs have been preloading a lot of like the marketing disclosures and things that you need for the office inside your specific market center folder here. But all of the GAR forms and all of the FMLS forms should be preloaded and interactive once you select them. Now, there's going to be an instance in which you need to add something from GAR, something from FMLS, something from the market center. Just know you can repeat this, but for now, I'm just going to click on the market center. I'm going to go in and grab my disclosure of multiple market affiliates and click add. That will then take that form and pull it into my room. Then if I want to go grab all of my GAR forms that I need to put this house on the market, I would go click on the add button again, go to Docusign Forms, and repeat this process. Now, one of the things that we need to get more familiar on, and I'll get some more training on, is creating pre-made templates, one for like a listing that you can just pull all your forms in, one that you need for your buyers. But for right now, I believe this is a manual process, but we'll get trained on this and I'll share the tips out for that. Or if you figure it out before me, let me know. Now, just a word of caution. When I click on this forms button, this is normal that we've had to wait for a very, very long time. And I encourage you, do not click off, don't hit refresh, because every time you do reset, just be patient here. It takes about a minute to 90 seconds to load sometimes, and it seems to be dependent on account. We did this earlier today and it happened immediately. So just be patient if this takes a second to load. And do you have a question or did I cover that? I think I heard someone, okay. So now that I have my multi-list forms taken care of, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna add my GAR forms, and this will pull up all, 190 something forms that we have in here. So there is a search bar. So I would just come in here and put, exclusive listing or purchase and sale. And every single purchase and sale is in here. This is really, really helpful if you know like specifically what form you need. You can just type in like F201. I can pull up the purchase and sale agreement from GAR. But all of them are in there. It's just a matter of searching for what they're called, or if you know the number, type that in. Now what I'd recommend, now that this is checked, I would just come back up here and delete this out and then pull every other form that I need. You can upload multiple at once. That way there you're not going through that long lag period. Just upload all 4 or 5, however many docs you need for that moment. And again, I'm just gonna leave those in here, but let me take those off. Now I'm gonna click on add. It'll pull the purchase and sale agreement right into my room. Okay. Now here's the fun part. Now we want to click on the form, and this is where the form is now interactive. So we're going to be able to add people to our room. We're going to go through and kind of update this information. So it preloaded a good bit of this. So, it pulled in the address for my details page. So that's why it's really, really important to do that. You save yourself a good bit of time. But here's your opportunity to go through, read the document, and just kind of change anything that might either be broken or weird, not feeding the right way, or just needs to be updated. So all of these are interchangeable. You can put your MLS number in.
Sam, real quick.
Yes.
It said when I clicked on the form, Docusign Forms is not currently available. Is this something I need to refresh, or is that some error that happened?
Is your NRDS number connected? Did you go through that step?
Yep,
okay.
I already went through it.
Yeah, try refreshing the page. And are you in Google Chrome or something else?
I am in Google Chrome.
Okay. Is your Chrome up to date?
It is.
Okay.
I just had a
maybe try
similar issue and
refreshing.
had to reset my password.
Say again, Craig?
I said I just had a similar issue and I had to reset my password.
Okay. Yeah, give that a shot.
All right, thanks.
Cool.
Sam, it's Melba. What about, are we going to be able to get our logo in the top left-hand corner?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
That's important. Will you check on it?
Yeah. Thanks for that, Melba.
I think that was pulled from the GAR forms. If you try to pull it from the KW forms, would it have it on there?
I don't believe the KW forms are only, there's only a handful of them. They're unique to the Market Center. These would truly just be the GAR forms.
We'd have to add that. We did that with DocuSign, and we're going to have to do it with Dotloop too. Or we had to do it with Dotloop. We'll have to do it with this, but we do need to look into how to do that.
Okay. I'll reach out to the MCAs. The MCAs have the admin capabilities with these accounts. So I'll work with them.
We'll look into that. We'll look into that.
Perfect. Thanks, LB. Yeah, do you remember that having that capability or being told to do that? I'm sure that we had weird details for the longest time.
It's been a long time. I don't remember, but we'll figure it out because the logos do have to be on there, but we'll figure it out.
Okay, great. Yeah, and just so you all know, it's really funny is all of the office leadership has been working on these forms for, I don't know, what, 6 months now, LB at least. And we were waiting and waiting and waiting for GAR to give us approval. So we're finally there.
Well, yeah, and I'll have to give credit to Kim and Mickey have been leading the charge for us as well. They're kind of teaching me as we go, but you know, it's a team effort.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, make sure that when you can give your Market Center leadership some high fives. They've all been working hard on this. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but just know that you can come in and put in all of your remarks, do everything you can with all these editable fields. And then once you're happy with everything, you just come down and click, you know, save and close once your documents have all the information that need to be. But like we said, all the leadership had worked really, really hard to get these forms the right way so that you shouldn't have anything broken with any of these fields. So here, like you see your buyer signature and things like that, you can go ahead and preload that information.
Can you save and close throughout? Like if you save, like is there a way to save and then go back and edit the document versus go through the whole document, save and close?
So when I click save and close, that doesn't like finalize it. I can come back and just pick up where I left off. So like if you're doing this at 10 o'clock at night, like I know a lot of you do, and you're going to pick up, you know, the next morning, you can just do that, click save and close and come back and your progress will be there. Okay. And let me do this. I'm just going to do another one real quick. I'm going to come through here and just take a look at my disclosure of marketing services. Again, this one specifically for North Atlanta. It'll be different for each of your market centers, but come in here, change the names, change the dates, fill that information out. And then eventually the signature field will work a little bit later. But just know that you can edit all of those.
Can you add extra names and for signature blocks and things like that?
Yeah, you can do that later. Yeah. Yep. So this is the pre-filled forms. And then before we send it out for signature, we can do that. And I'm wondering if we can do that with logos, but we'll try and make that sticky as an office as well. Now, forgive me here for a second. I'm trying to remember my next move, so don't follow me verbatim. I believe the next thing that we have to do is click on people. Nope. Let me double check this. We need to click on the form.
May I add? Because we've learned together through this.
Yeah, Lordana, where were we? Because we want to make sure that we add the roles to the people now. Do you remember where that was?
Exactly, yes. So right now we are in rooms, and rooms are the old loops. In order for us to send any documents to people to sign, we look at the documents, people, and envelopes. So we are in rooms, and we need to move those documents that we need to have signed into envelopes, because in envelopes we're going to have all the correspondence with everybody. So we're going to select these documents.
I'm remembering this
and
now.
on the right side you have actions. Do you see those?
Was it actions? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we had to go into Docusign here.
Docusign, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yep. Yeah, we're remembering this now. And again, it's not difficult. It's just new with new buttons. But what you want to do is when you're ready to get these prepared to sign, you want to click on all of the documents that you're basically look at this room as a folder. Now we're going to take each document that we need. We're gonna fold them up into a nice little envelope before we get them ready to send out the door. So now that we've picked these two, we're going to click on the DocuSign button. So if you're missing that, if by chance you're not seeing this little mini toolbar right here, it's because you don't have any forms selected. I want to make sure that I pick at least one or the two that I need signed. Click on the DocuSign pencil right here. Okay. Now when I do this, it's going to open up what we call kind of like an envelope detail. It's now going to create this prepackaged group of folder or group of files that we're then going to send out to our clients. Now, don't worry. It looks like we're about to type an email. We're just getting it prepared. This isn't actually going out just yet. So the envelope name, this would just be like, name it like listing or pre-listing, or, you know, whatever's easiest for you. 123 Main, or whatever the street address is. Your documents are in here. So you already have 2 in place. These are the 2 that we selected. If you needed to add more, I believe that we can click on upload. So if you're in like new construction or something and your forms aren't part of the Market Center, if they're not part of GAR or part of the FMS, if you have another document, you can upload it here from your computer. And this is where we add recipients. So this is what I was thinking of, Lordana. I know where we're at now. So when you add a recipient to an envelope, you want to click from this drop-down menu, and we want to select pre-tagged roles. You want to pick this top selection here. If you pick the pre-tagged roles, whenever we go to actually sign documents, it'll pre-mark where the buyer needs to sign, where the seller needs to sign, where whoever needs to sign. So you want to make sure that you click on pre-tagged roles. And then from here, it's going to have us select them. So if I need to send these 2 documents to seller 1, from the drop-down menu, it's going to ask me, okay, is that which of these people? So that would be me, consumer Sam at this point. Seller 2 would be my wife, Krista. And then the listing broker, that would be, you know, you as an agent, right? Listing broker, yeah. Listing broker would be then Lordana. This gets confusing because we're logged in as her. So you have seller 1, Sam Jackson, seller 2, Krista Jackson, listing broker, Lordana. Then I click add selected. And then whenever I actually get onto the next step, everything will be preloaded to that exact person to sign where they need to. Now, there is another button here below where I can add a recipient. So if you need to add somebody's email address, so if you needed like the closing attorney or the mortgage rep to get a copy of this, even though they're not signing, this is how you would add them. So I can come in here and add, you know, Jim Shu or Kathy Vitale, you know, whoever. And then I would just change their permissions from need to sign to receives a copy or needs to view. And then you put their email address in. And that should work. Now, if by chance they don't need it, you can just click the X button. You can get rid of them. They won't receive that. Then at the very bottom, you're actually typing in your email. So this is going to come from Docusign. So once we have this like ready to go, we're getting it packaged now, but once we get it ready to go, this is getting the body of your email ready. So this would be, please Docusign. Let me know if you have any questions. You know, whatever, put your signature in. But just know that this is what your client will receive. And then once you have that done, we're just going to click on the next button up in the top right-hand corner. And just like Deb's question earlier, if I'm not ready to send this out, or if, like, you know, it got late and I'm not going to do this in the morning, I can click save and close. This will now save an envelope for me. I can pick it up later if I need to. Was there a question?
Yeah, when you know how in .loop, when you have your loop and then you can add people, and it's not just the buyer, the seller, the listing agent, you could also add attorney, you could add lender, whatever. Can you do that initially so you don't have to be adding people in the transaction? Could you set it up in the envelope or in the beginning?
Yeah, so we went into the details tab, we went into the documents tab. There was one more that was for people. You could add other roles in there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we skipped over that for today, but yeah. Yep. And then once you're okay with this, we're going to click next. And this would be all of the forms that we need to start signing. So everything that we preloaded will be in here. All of the information that we manually typed will be on the form. And as you can see, as I scroll it down, there will be a highlight for blue where the buyer or the seller needs to sign. And then eventually there will be another spot, once I keep going through the form, just where the signatures are located. Again, this is where the buyer and seller will sign. Here's where me as an agent will sign in yellow. Now, this is not interactive just yet. Once we've finished everything, once we've kind of finalized it, I'll be prompted to sign it as an agent, but just know that you'll be able to do that later. And as we scroll through, again, like here's a boo-boo, here's a mistake. So on my disclosure marking services, it didn't preload the buyer signature because I didn't set it up the right way. If I need to add a signature, I can just drag and drop it over here from the left-hand side. Okay. Now, let me see. So right now, when I have the signature in place, it's going to ask me who needs to sign this. From the preset roles, I can change this from me, the agent, to Sam, the consumer, and then that'll go to Sam where he needs to, or if he needs to date it or print it, whatever, I can add these fields. I'm looking to see if there's a place to do an image and if we could do our logos that way, but I'm not seeing it firsthand.
Sam, in Dotloop, we need a separate email address for each buyer and each seller. Do you need a separate email address in Docusign?
I believe that is the case. Don't quote me on that one. I'll have to look into that. I'm aware of that situation. I'll have to get an answer for you.
Thank you.
If the rules haven't changed, that was the benefit of DocuSign back in the day, that we could use one email address to 2 signers, and that email address would get 2 emails for the 2 different people receiving the document.
Perfect. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Yeah, we luckily, like, DocuSign's not new. It's just new to most of us. I mean, DocuSign was really the preferred signature tool for the longest time until Dotloop kind of really put themselves specifically in the real estate corner of signatures. So you're good. But once you've given everything a second look and you're good with signatures and the forms, everything that you need here, we click the send button and this goes out the door. Now, I'm going to show you 2 things here. I'm going to show you as a consumer and then also as an agent. But this is going to send, and you'll see now that I get a prompt that says, do you want to sign this now or later? I'm not sure why. On Loredana's account, that disappears, and that's okay. But when I go back to my room, it still says, I need my signature, and it's yellow, which indicates that's for the agent. So even though I wasn't able to click on that very quick pop-up that said, do you want to sign now? It takes me to here, and I can sign it as an agent. So I can click the sign button. And as me, Loredana, I just click continue. I click start, 1-click sign, and finish. That's all I needed for my part. So that's Loredana signing it. And then let me go into my personal email account here. So when I got my email, it says from Loredana, please DocuSign. This is the email that we created before. When I open it up, it just says review these documents, and this is me as a consumer. And I'm going to open this up in an incognito window so I don't screw up anything real quick. I'm not accidentally logging as Loredana as well. But this is me as a consumer, Sam. It's going to say, hey, from Loredana, you need to sign these things. I'm going to click on agree and continue. And then I click start, and then I'm signing where the seller information is. As a consumer, it's going to ask me, is this the signature you want to adopt, or do you want to draw your own? Most people are just going to do it. It's going to take me through everything that I need to sign, and not just sign, but if there's something that you assigned to me that I needed to fill out, that would be in there as well. And then I click finish. Now, Loredana, we received an email that you got notification that I finished signing it.
Let me check. I'm checking right now.
Sam,
we were messing around on Good Friday. We weren't supposed to be working, but we were. It's a little bit blurry.
Sam, Melba, I have a quick question.
Yes, Melba.
Relative to how it auto-populated quickly to where the seller needed to initial it, and also populated real quickly to where the seller needed to sign it. Mm-hmm. Does it allow them to go back and look at the contract before they initial and sign it?
Can they go back and look at it? I mean, I jumped through that. Yeah, I could read that if I wanted to. I'm not sure that I could duplicate what we just did, but there was a button that says start. Instead of just clicking start, I could have read through all that and taken my time with it.
You jumped to the signatures, or the thing auto-populated straight to the signature?
No, so let me see. Let's do one. We'll do one more anyways, because I want people to get some good muscle memory for this. Let me add another document real quick, and we'll run through that again.
They can scroll through the document before starting the signing section. And one of the good things about DocuSign is when you sign it, it emails you a copy of what you signed. Like Dotloop, you don't really get a signed copy of what you signed. So every time an individual signs anything in DocuSign, it'll email them a copy so they have a record of all the documents in their folder.
Yeah, I'll go to my email real quick, but I believe, yeah, completed.
And I just checked my email, and I have received 3 emails. One says that one just sends me, it's telling me that Loredana sent you a document to review and sign. The other one is telling me that Sam, my client, viewed the document. And the third one is telling me that the document was signed and the document has been completed. Yep.
And this screen right here is consumer me with the signed copy of that as well, like Gina had said. So when I scroll down, I can see.
Sam, can you stop? All right, so Loredana's name is down at the bottom left instead of in the box. Is that what we'll be seeing?
Right,
or is
right
it still
here where
getting
my mouse
worked on?
is. Right here where my mouse is, like at the footer of the page?
Yes, instead of in the copyright section.
Instead of in the copyright section.
This is just the
Oh, it's up here.
signature. This is the stamp, like DocuSign stamps every document. So this is basically making it tamper-proof that you cannot edit it. So that's basically, Loredana owns that document right now.
Yeah, yeah, and Marianne, that was a field that I skipped through just for sake of time. Yeah, that's a fillable, completable field that you should have put Loredana's name here or the listing agent's name
Well,
here.
shouldn't it? So it's not going to auto-populate the way that
it used to auto-populate like
it
our
auto-populate.
did.
Yeah. Again, we'll as office staff, we're kind of learning on the fly with all this too. We'll see if we can get something kind of created here for templates so that stuff is preloaded. But again, we're learning kind of right along with all of you. But we'll I'll take that back too and see what we can get done.
Hey, Sam.
Sam, the listing broker is wrong. It should never say the agent. It should always say the company.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we uncovered that on Friday.
Sam, because of where. Hey, this is Marianne.
Yeah, Marianne.
I think that when you assigned the signatories, you assigned listing broker as Loredana instead of authorized signer as Loredana.
Okay. So you're saying human error there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, and Pam's saying that in the chat too. That's due to the way Sam assigned values. Yeah. I think it's less confusing when you have less people in your room in practice. It should be a little bit easier when you guys trial this without trying to create fake versions of yourself. And then Robin, did you have a question?
Yeah, so this doesn't time stamp or date each individual signature?
Let me double check on that, but I believe it does to some extent. Whenever I signed in as a consumer, I had to authorize that it was being time-stamped and that this was an official document.
Robin, let me say this. I'm glad that it does not have a timestamp.
I was waiting on that, Melba.
That is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. I personally liked it because I could nab people on binding dates, but you know.
Why don't it has nothing to do with binding date.
Any change? So there's been a change to the way, I'll talk offline, never mind.
Well, if I could chime in, once you get the document back that's signed, there's an other options button, and that will show you the certificate of the signatures and the date, the time and date stamp, and it's all on one page. So if you need it, it'll be there, but it just won't be on your document.
Yep.
That is great. My point is the time that the buyer seller signed it has nothing to do with binding.
Right, but if it's after the time limit, that's what I would look at, not binding, but the time limits if people put them in the contracts.
That doesn't have anything to do with it either. It has to do when it's returned back, not when they sign it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we had a question from chat. So Indy asked, how do we get a Docusign account? I'm going to post a training video that was kind of shared this morning. So we'll keep an eye on the Georgia Legacy group. We'll post this morning session on getting to this point where we're at today. And then this is being recorded and will be shared as well. Okay. What can we go over? Do we want another trial run on a document? What would you like to see?
Yeah, can you do another document again with how you set up the signatures and all that?
Before I do that, I want to share one more thing on how this all ties back to command, because there's another step here too that I don't want to forget. But go ahead, Gina, what was your question?
No, go ahead.
Comment.
I wanted to see, like, say we have loops with one buyer or a listing, right? We have multiple loops for a client. So when we go add another room, how does it all come back into command? Because like say I'm under contract and I bring all of this into command, then how do we overwrite, or do we have to do a new folder in command?
Yeah, so I don't know that this is the official word. So don't beat me up on this one, but we are going to be ending our dot loop agreement on May 31st. So we want to pull the plug completely on dot loop on May 31st. With that being said, the dot loop contract that we have with Keller Williams says that you can create a loop leading up to that time. However, no new loops will be created after that. So just be mindful. The way this all ties back into command, that I can do a document half dot loop, half Docusign. So for example, someone asked me this morning, I got a buyer brokerage agreement signed this morning, nothing's under contract, what should I do? It's okay if you have that done in dot loop. When they do go under contract, we'll do all of those forms in Docusign. Now, it doesn't matter because command is integrated with both. So once I have the document signed, so we have this one here, for example, that we just did with Loredana. When I go back into the opportunity of this person, so this is Sam Jackson, the client now in opportunities, I'll click this button that says sync transaction. So what that does is that all the work that we've been doing in Docusign will now speak easily with command. I'll click sync transaction. This will take a second to update. Now, I had the purchase and sale agreement signed? Is that what it was? So I would go under contracts, find my purchase and sale agreement shelf. Did I miss it?
Can you not do a search?
You can. Or I guess you can't, not here. Not on this screen. Purchase and sale, I blew right by that. So I'd come to the purchase and sale shelf within command, click on this button that says add file. Then when I do this, it's going to ask me, do I want to pull it from Docusign? And if you had dot loop still connected, you could pull it from dot loop as well. So for those of you who've been asking, should I get my old files, my old loops in the command, you would do it this way. So I'm going to click on Docusign, and it's going to show me all of the signed forms that I have. So it says right here, my purchase and sale is signed. I can pull this one in. So I'm going to click on that one, click assign, and then I'll see this file show up here. This is also how you replace them. So like future on, if you lose the deal, whatever, you need to replace it with a different version, I can remove it and then re-upload.
Sam, is it true that we could continue to use .loop if we want to by paying for it?
You can.
How much is it?
I do not know the cost. For me though, and this is just, I want to give as the best advice as I possibly can. Just be aware of who owns .loop. It's not about the cost and the ease. It's just that knowing that you are literally giving the data to Zillow, which is a company that wants to end real estate agents. So again, Keller Williams, we're always going to be true to the agents. You guys have the freedom to do what you want. But me personally, I'm going to tell you, I love working in real estate. Don't do that because Zillow will try to replace you.
No, I just wanted to know because during the learning process, if we are in a hurry, for instance,
I have a question about adding documents like a PDF form or something like that. We were able to do that in .loop. Like, for instance, I have an information form I give out to all of my clients, or I have a utilities form that I've created and I ask them to fill out when we're signing listing documents.
Yeah, so this is uncharted territory, so I'm gonna be learning as we do this, but I believe that when you're in the room for that particular person, you can click on My Docs in the top, and you can add and upload your own folders. So be careful. You don't want to you can add a folder, which would be like, these are all my new construction, these are all my new utilities. You can create the folder itself, just like you do with like Windows. But to add a document, you click on this tab, upload one from your computer that would be a PDF. Yeah.
Well, the other thing, you'll be able to assign text fields to those documents, and they can go ahead and fill that on Docusign as well. So,
Yes.
And it expands as they keep typing, the field will expand.
The other thing I saw, Sam, is that when you were deciding whether to use the the forms or from your computer. You had two different options. And so I think you can upload them from your computer there too.
Yep.
When you're looking at document sources, just the same way as in .loop.
Yeah, so if I'm in the room for this particular person, this is the one we've been working on. I go to Documents, click on Add, upload from your computers there as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm, yeah.
Yeah, so you can do it. You can do it per transaction, or you can add it to like a template that you can always pull from.
At what point do you have to sync it? Do that sync button?
So once everything is signed, that's when you would go back into Command and click the Sync Transaction button.
And if everything is signed and then you get counter offers and you get this offers and you get that offers, I mean, do you sync it every time?
Just sync it when you're ready to. So the point of syncing it is what we're doing within Command is getting it ready to submit to the Market Center.
Okay.
So you don't need to sync it every time. Just sync your finalized group of things. But you'll click this Submit to Market Center button to get it approved by the Market Center.
So isn't sync once we have a contract we're binding?
And probably through due diligence.
You're probably going to sync and submit to the Market Center several times. You're going to do that whenever you get a listing. You're going to do that whenever you go under contract. And the goal here is that we really, really want to prevent what we've done in the past where we say, hey, Linda, hey, Lynn, we love you guys so much. Can I get my commission check? By the way, here's my green sheet. We want to give you guys real-time abilities to let us know where you're at your transaction so we can help any way we can. That prevents a lot of things of like pay at close and things that we can do a little much speedier. Big picture, what we can do in Command is the second that you know that we have a listing in the system, Kelly can start giving you insight that says like, hey, it looks like you have a listing in the Treesdale community, which was built in the 70s. We know that on every single inspection report, historically through Keller Williams, aluminum wirings come up. You can actually go into your listing appointment and tell your client that this is either going to cost you $19,000 to replace ahead of time, or on average, it's cost your sellers $25,000 in negotiations. It's so like giving the system, the platform, the artificial intelligence, this data ahead of time will actually benefit you big in the long run. So I encourage you, start submitting your documents and like as you get them versus at closing.
My apologies, Sam. I was going under the purchase and sale agreement section, not that this was a listing, but that you would actually put in a purchase and sale agreement so that that's when you would sync is when you, as a buyer, not as a seller. My apologies.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, I like to get on that soapbox though about the technology. I love going down that nerdy rabbit hole.
May I ask a question, please? I
think we were talking about this earlier. It looks like to me that we should be able to make our own libraries with a listing library and a buyer's library we keep the docs in all the time. Is that something, is that what you were talking about? You're not sure how to do that yet?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know you can. Again, I'm getting trained as I'm training. So I will, as soon as I find that out, I'll share that with you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
The good news is if you guys want to jump ahead, most states have actually been in DocuSign and Keller Williams well before us. Like I know Texas and Pennsylvania, they were two of the first. If you can find a good tech trainer who's done like videos like I do, most of them have some DocuSign training if you want to jump ahead. That's kind of the resources I'm relying on right now.
Sam, I have a quick question.
I
Let's say you send this off to your client and you've made a typo in their email address and they say, oh, I don't have it. How do you reshare a document once you correct that email address?
How do you reshare the document once you have it? So,
you know, in .loop, you can go in and reshare, fix your email address if you've put it in wrong.
Yeah.
Just resend it.
Yeah, I can resend it.
Resend it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I'm not sure that I have the capabilities because this one's completed, but I'm sure it would say like still pending, just like the draft. I should be able to click on this and edit it.
Okay. I can edit my people's information.
You'll go into the people section.
Yeah, it'd be under the people section. You're right. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So that'd be under details or people.
Thank you.
Yep. You can invite, like we said before, you can invite, you know, your closing company, your mortgage person, whoever needs to be on here as well. Cool. So I know that a lot of you are going to get your hands on this today. as a leadership person, please do not wear out our wonderful ladies in the back end of the office. Just make sure that if you're going to create a fake DocuSign transaction today, just name it something absurd, like absolutely fake that we know it's fake, like Fred Flintstone, or just call it fake address, whatever. That way we're not counting anything towards our numbers.
Hey, Sam.
Yes. Hey, Mark.
If we've messed around and we've created some rooms, is there a way to archive them like you could in .loop? Just because I fooled around a little bit and I got like 3 or 4 rooms that are fake, but they're not named Fred Flintstone or Barney Rubble. So
Yeah.
Is there a way to archive them?
Yeah, let me see here. So can we select them? That's a great question. Gina, do you know?
I think you can remove them.
Okay, I was just wondering how.
You can delete in DocuSign. You can like an archive. You can delete it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me see here. So I have this one that's fake. I think we did this fake one. I don't have the select capabilities. I wonder if I click on it itself, if I have the action to close the room. Yeah, go ahead, Gina. Let me know.
What if you leave the room?
Yeah, so I guess if you click on, this is one for 12 Ingot Road. Click on the room and leave the room.
Okay.
You own more than one document. Let me think about that.
What is the edit piece of it?
That would be the that's the details part of the
If you
tab.
scroll down, there's nothing else.
Well, I'm on details, so that's why. Let me see if I can.
What about on actions? If you put close the room, does it just go back to the main menu?
It wouldn't let me close. Well.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the action would be to close the room, not leave the room.
Mm-hmm.
So close the room. Select the status. Find something good from the drop down, I guess.
All right.
Let's just say
Duplicate room.
Oh yeah, you can do duplicate room. And then in your comment section, fake. Now let me see then if I go back to my rooms.
Except it just said it was submitted for review.
Yeah. Let me look into that one, Mark.
Oh, looks
And
like it's
one
gone now.
comment I want to make.
It is gone though, yeah, because 12 Ingot Road's not there anymore.
Okay.
All statuses. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, so it looks like you wanna close the room, not leave the room.
Okay. Thank you.
Sam, when an agent receives a contract and it doesn't get accepted by the seller, but there was got a contract, typically we've told them to archive it because Georgia Real Estate License Law says they still have to keep it in our files. So they really need to figure out a way to keep it so that it is obtainable.
Sam, real quick, on that exact question, if you go to the little magnifying glass at the top right, it searches rooms and it says active review rooms. And if you click on it, it also has a closed room. So it seems like closed rooms are actually archived. It's just like .loop. You have to click on the search for it.
Yep. Yeah, and that's exactly it too, Melba. So my active rooms are shown here. When I closed the room, it went into review. So I'm guessing that probably pinged somebody at the market center. Because my close is empty right now, but I imagine once the office closes out, it would still be here, just not showing up as active.
Closed is
it's not truly deleted.
So closed is just like the equivalent of being archived on .loop, probably.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sam, what about signing the bottom when you go binding? How would you go about that after all the signatures are in?
Yeah, great question. Let me go back to my room here. There is a way to do that.
We did that together, Sam.
So one of the good things with DocuSign, you can say who signs first. So you can basically say, okay, if Loredana's the person that reviews all the documents, and once she reviews it, she signs it, then it goes to Sam, who's just blindly signing it because Loredana signed it. And then the other person and the last person, say if I'm the listing agent or the one going to bind it, that I know I'm going to bind it, then you could be, because everybody's getting notified. So, you can assign the binding date on the last person signing because everybody will get notified.
Yeah. And Loredana, we did this, it was on the purchase and sale, right? We clicked on this one again.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we're doing is, and to answer that question, it's showing here when I went back into the room, I clicked on documents. Here is our signed purchase and sale agreement. It's signed by both Loredana and the client. I can open this up to edit it again. And then you would scroll all the way down. Actually, I think I'm creating something redundant, right? We don't need to do this here. You would just create this one for an envelope. So you would select it, go back to Docusign. Again, I'm going to skip through this part, but again, you're creating the envelope essentially, clicking clicking next. You're adding yourself. Why am I blanking here? Loredana, can you help me? Remember?
Trying to remember, but I was trying to play and I realized that I can't.
Yeah, let me see that. So agent owner needs to sign. Okay. So you have to add at least one person. So you'd be adding yourself in here to the room, clicking next. It's not going to go to your client. And then we would go to the binding part of this, all the way at the bottom.
Add the text box. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you can add text, signature, and then just make sure that you assign these to the right person. There's only one person in the room, so it's
it doesn't have to be a signature. It just can be filled in the name.
okay.
Just need a text box and the date.
Text box and a date. So same thing. Text box. And then, yeah, once I have those in, I'm the only person, or like the agent's the only person in this room. So normally when I click on this, it says like, who needs to do this? It's only you, so you don't have to pick that. When I click send, this should either hit Loredana's email or it's going to prompt me again to complete it myself.
Or you can fill it out right then on the spot.
Yep. So it needs my signature. And then I can click sign. So Melba, this is where we were talking about earlier. Whenever it hits the client, they can read through this document. Once they click start, that's where it jumps them from signature to signature.
It makes
So
sense.
they have the ability to scroll through here freely, no problem.
Sam, can you click on the other actions up on the right, upper right side?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yep. Cindy, I don't understand your question. It says, is host in Purdon signing available in Docusign? I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Probably host in person where you can have them sign on your laptop or computer.
Thank you. That's a good question. Something else I have to look up. Yeah.
DocuSign doesn't have that as far as I know.
Okay. Sign in
I
person.
think it's in settings because I know builders use that. Host in person signing, they use that. So.
And
Also,
while we're looking up too, so Pam Slager in the comments said that Marty Miller's Command 66-Day Challenge 3.0 has a couple of DocuSign videos. So that's another great resource as well. Go ahead, Andrea.
Thanks, Sam. I also wanted to find out when you're scrolling down the document in DocuSign, or excuse me, in .loop, it won't allow you to go to the next signature until you do the first one. Like you have to do the first one, then the second one. You can't jump around. Is this the same way?
it takes you through from signature to signature.
Yeah.
Okay, very, very good, because I had a client that was doing .loop just the other day, and he had scrolled all the way down and was trying to sign, but he needed to initial first, and so it wasn't allowing him, but he figured it out. So
any field that is assigned to that particular role will take them through step by step until it's completed.
Okay, very good.
Yep. Now they can scroll ahead to read, that's no problem, but when it comes to the signatures, you'll take them field by field what they need to fulfill there.
Yeah, and I think that's what he was doing. He just flew down to the last page and was trying to sign it, and it wouldn't allow him to sign it, even though I had given him permission to sign.
Yep. And you can see here too, so I just had this situation where if by chance your client does need to sign something, or if they need to complete a form, instead of just clicking next, it's going to tell them I have to actually fill this in. So that's going to tell them to stop and kind of read what it is they're filling out. So hopefully that should eliminate user error on the behalf of the client. Cool. What is your initial feedback? Obviously, we all have a lot to learn here. We have some questions.
Sam,
we'll
one take
of
the things that while I was on the call with you just now, I've gone ahead and created like my buyer loop and my seller loop. And if you add the documents that you would want, you can basically create a buyer folder and add everything. And then say you're doing a buyer brokerage, you just go into your buyer folder, click the buyer brokerage and the brochures that you want, and you can actually copy it to the folder that you want to go into. So you can actually create folders that will have.
Can you show us how to do that in like 5 minutes or less?
Sure. So I went into.
Here, if you're cool, then I'll stop sharing my screen and you can share yours.
Sure.
This is now called Train the Trainer.
How do I go to my?
How to share. So in Zoom, just kind of shake your mouse. So
Yeah, I'm
there
just
you
okay.
go.
So I went into like I created a folder, and I said, see, I did a buyer folder.
Okay.
And then in my buyer folder, I said add, right? And I went to Docusign. Okay, let me see. Hold on. Let me do a seller folder. So some days this takes very long to load.
It does. It takes yeah. And the key thing is be patient here, because if you try to click off of it, it's going to break.
You let make sure it's soft.
So here's a good time to use the restroom whenever you need to. So like while you're doing all the thousands of tasks you do as real estate agents, just know when you click on the forms button, that's your chance to go use the restroom.
Okay, so then I went to GAR, and then I just say I'm checking these.
Right, you'd be
added
specific
them,
there.
right? And then now I say this is my folder that I have. I have all the documents in my folder. And then I just do, say, these two, if I take, and I'll say move.
Move, okay, perfect.
Select it to a destination, active rooms, and you select where you want to move it to.
Very cool. Excellent. And obviously we'll get some videos out on this. I would say that some of the people that I follow that are really good at this would be Marty Miller, who was mentioned before, and then Jay Cermak as well. He's an agent in Florida, a tech trainer in Florida as well. He's another person that you should look up on YouTube, Jay Cermak with a C, and Marty Miller. But we'll get a lot more training on this as well. But those are two good folks that, oops, I sent that privately. My bad. Take a look at those guys on YouTube. They should have some advanced Docusign training because they've been in a little bit longer. But we'll get a lot more out on this, and we'll keep some more posted next week. We'll probably do Docusign at least a class a week between now and when the shutoff is, and we can do some masterminds around it as well. Cool. Any other questions? Besides those who had a couple one-offs, we'll go ahead and end the recording, and then we'll end the room. And then for those of you who want to stick around and troubleshoot, we'll just play around with some screen sharing and whatnot.
Hey, Sam.
Yes.
Are we hanging out? Are you closing it?
Yeah, I'm going to close out as long as there aren't any more questions.
Okay. I have a question, but it's off record.
Okay.
Me too.
All right.
I'll just wait in line.
Cool. All right. Thanks everybody. Thanks for
Thank you, Sam.
attending. I'm going to get
Thank you,
this.
Sam.
Thank you. I'll get this uploaded to my YouTube channel and then posted on the GLG as soon as I have that link. So if you want to go back and rewatch this, it'll be there. And I'll make sure that I edit it for you guys so it's not 3 hours long. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Hey, Sam. Renee Reddick.